Okay, this bumper's long overdue for a tidy up. It's pretty dull and oxidised. The truck wash guys have been getting in a bit stuck in, trying to get, I don't know, bugs off, I'm assuming. And they scratch it up, they get a bit carried away. That's alright. Needs a cut and polish anyway, so I've taken to just taping around stuff that I don't really want to have to clean, polish residue off afterwards, like the number plate and the light strip across the bottom, which is stainless, so it doesn't need to be polished, and obviously the lights take a bit of cleaning up afterwards if you get the polish all over them, so I just tape them up now. Saves me a bit of time. I take off the bumper bolt chrome caps, plastic caps, because they just get the buffer's a bit aggressive on them and they get a bit roughed up, so I'll just take them off. As I've said previously, most of your work you'll do with a primary cut wheel, like your orange. This one's an orange yellow blend that just came from the side I get them from. I don't know if they do straight orange, to be honest, but same pretty much. Get your brown triply bar. Use a lot of that on that. Most of your work's done in your primary cutting, so you can get it pretty much as good as you want it with that. Actually, you can finish off with the finer blends, but most of your work's done with that combination there. Obviously your rake wheel to get, as you can see, this one needs a clean already. I haven't started yet, but this is from the last time I was polishing. That shiny silver build-up is a mixture of aluminium oxide that's come off the bumper and the compound just built up on there. You want to get rid of that before you start, so that'll be the first thing we do.
Wow.
As you can see, I've just done a section there. That's just one little go with one dab of compound. You can see the difference. That's just first go of the primary cut, so it's a way to go yet, but definite improvement obviously from what it was. Okay, so we've got about, I don't know, I want to say 10 minutes or so done. Very quick, rough cut. I didn't quite finish the front on the first cut before the battery died on me. But that's one battery, I've got another one. I have a feeling it probably overheated actually. It's probably not flat yet. You can see when it does that on my focus works. When does that thing when it's flashing like that, it means the battery's overheated. So it's quite a lot of resistance on the cut. Obviously it's pulling pretty hard, a lot of resistance against the wheel, and obviously you're leaning into it to try and cut off, so it does tend to overheat the batteries and they do go flat quite quick. So that one's probably got a bit of juice left. I might chuck it up in the fridge in the truck, chuck my other one on and carry on. Just stopped for now because see here, I've got some scratches on the side here. Not sure if you can see those, but there we go. From time to time we'll nudge into something in a tight yard we're trying to get around. Occasionally going through roadworks you'll come across a cone you can unable to avoid completely. You'll hit one on one side or the other just because someone's bumped it and it's moved across into your lane or something. I suspect these look a bit deep for a road cone though, so not as bad once you wipe the compound out of them, but they're still there, so I'll quickly sand those off with just the 600 and go back to cutting again just to get them out of there. It could have well have been even a forklift going past with a packet of timber might have nudged it. You never know. It's just, it happens sometimes, but it's very minor. So we'll sand those out and carry on polishing. So take out the old buffer here, safety flanges, and push it with this doodad. And that's red. There we go. The Velcro pad allows us to go with the sanding discs. We don't want this. Those are 180. Those are way too aggressive. I think those are 400. I think on the top there. These will be the 600s. Very fine. It's really one step above cutting. Just slightly more aggressive. Very fine. It's actually almost impossible to tell. Like it's fluffy on the back and smooth on the front. It just looks like paper. But 600 grip, that will make a difference. So just quickly do that. Right, so like I say, they don't look like much, those little pads, but obviously they're quite aggressive compared to cutting. That's roughed it up, but it's also got hopefully those little scratches out of there. So we'll go back to our cutting cloth wheel. Try and bring that back to what the rest of it is. It's already starting to look better than it was. Take this off. Safety flanges back on. Make sure the arrow's pointing the right way because it's directional. I don't need both hands for that, so we'll swap back to longer.
Epic drop.
So as you can see, with the cloth wheel and the cutting compound, we've managed to cut those sanding marks back out again. Still not done yet, obviously. There's a bit of compound I'll need to clean off yet and redo it, but as you can see, the scratches are gone, which is the main point. Okay, so that's pretty much the first go with the primary cut. And as you can see, it's taken a lot of that white, cloudy, oxidized alloy off. It's looking a lot better already. It's not far off, actually. Like I say, most of the work you'll do will be with that combination there. If you're buying this kind of setup, buy lots of those orange wheels, and well, you start off with, honestly, you won't need to kit yourself out too badly to start off with, but you'll get, if you buy one of the kits, the Zephyr kits like I did, you get one of those orange wheels and a brown triply bar, you'll get, I've got shit scattered everywhere. You get a green one. I think they come with these green and purple ones. It's actually a mixed. I don't know if I recommend the mixed ones, but it's what the kit comes with. The purple's slightly less aggressive. I don't see the point myself. Whatever's the most aggressive compound or cloth that you're using is the finish you're going to get. If you've got a finer compound and a finer cloth working away in the middle there, the aggressive one, I mean, if you're working with two different grits of sandpaper at the same time, obviously the coarser grit is the finish you're going to end up with. So I don't myself don't personally agree with these mixed wheels, but that's how they come. So and that'll come the green bar, which is in there somewhere, possibly in my other box, and the other one you'll get with the kit is the white one. That's your final buff. That one there is much softer, and you use it on a slower RPM, and it's just to take out the last of the last scratches basically from the compound, which you can do by hand, like I say. Unless you go to a show, you probably won't use that one a lot. That's the original one I got with the kit. I think I'm on my second green one, and the white one you'll use with the blue. That's what comes with the kit. You can also get a white one, which is also a finishing polish. I tried it out. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. I think the white one's slightly finer compound. But as you can see, I've used a lot of these orange ones. I'm not even sure they're all in here, to be honest. If you want aggressive cutting, so here's an orange one, but it's a dipped. So what they do is they dip it in a resin which hardens it. Much harder than these ones, which are just cloth. That's a more aggressive cut. So if you're doing something like the checker plate, like those toolboxes, which is what I'm going to be doing next, those are quite good for that. They don't burn down as fast either because they're harder. The old checker plate just tears those to shreds. And the other thing you got to remember with these is the smaller they get, the slower your RPM is, so there's more work involved. So as soon as they start getting to about that size, they're not much good for anything other than, like I say, I save these ones for doing things like checker plate, or areas where you might be working on, say, some of the we have the extruded aluminium steps on these, but most of your Kenworths come with those bump, they've got the raised holes like the old cheese graters, and they tear these up as well. So I keep those. Slower speed's good too for doing that kind of stuff because they catch easier. So I just save these old ones for shit like that, where it doesn't matter if they get torn up, and a slower RPM's not a bad thing. But obviously when you're doing surfaces like this or your tanks, you want as much RPM as possible. So you want a bigger wheel, which is why you don't want to rake too much. Like I say, you rake it when you get this shiny build up on the sides, that aluminium oxide, that real shiny build up on the sides there, that's starting to need a rake there. As you can see how it's shiny. When it looks like that, it's not too bad. See, that's good. It's just a little bit there, but I'd probably go for a bit longer with that, to be honest. The reason I stopped though is the other thing I was going to make, is, as you can see, there's a lot of compound on there now. I'm just pushing it around, and it gets to the point where it needs a clean. So I also highly recommend buying, this also comes with the kit. I'm on my second or third bottle now. This eliminator. It just cleans off. You spray it onto a rag and wipe that bumper down and clean off all of that residue, that compound and aluminium oxide build up. And then you can start again, because you get to a point you're just pushing it around and around and around. And you want to get rid of that crap. So give it a wipe, real good wipe down with the stuff. And then you'll see, you'll be able to make out parts that maybe need a bit more attention. Spot cleaning. If it all looks good all over, maybe go over it again. If it looks really good, maybe switch to the green wheel and start doing a finer. That's like a cut colour wheel. Same with the green bar. It's a cut colour compound. So you start. It's still a cut, but it's taking out some of the harsher scratches. Because when you wipe that down, you look up close, you'll notice it'll still look, it looks okay like this, but it'll still, looking up close, it'll still have, you'll be able to see the fine scratches from that because it's a more aggressive cut, a more aggressive compound. The green one with the green bar will start to take some of those deeper scratches out and make it look less cloudy. Not that it's looking too bad already at the moment, but and then I usually won't worry so much about the white one. I'll just go over it by hand with the Zephyr Pro 40. Just hand polish the last of it down with a microfiber, and that'll take the worst of the scratches out. And then the next time you wash it, the last of the compound that's bedded into all these little tiny little stone indentations in your bumper, the last of those will come out, which will take the last of that shitty look of spotty black compound off it. Yeah, it always looks better after the first wash because that you get a soft sponge or a mitt, noodle mitt on there. And like I say, that'll just take the last of the compound out of the finer scratches, and it will actually just, it'll just come up mint. So it's a process. Alright, we've cleaned that off. Don't be alarmed if it looks a little bit streaky and cloudy after you've used this stuff. That water is there. It does, a bit like glass cleaner, it does tend to leave a bit of a residue, but we're not finishing with it anyway. We're going to be doing some more cutting yet, so it doesn't really matter. Just wipe as much of that compound, polishing compound, off as you can. And already I can see some bits that need a little bit more attention than others. Not too bad for a first pass, but getting around these bolts is tricky because you go on the angles to do the top and bottom bits, for example, where the wheel won't reach, and you're going against the grain of the alloy, so it does tend to show up different, but we'll finish those off by hand anyway. Plus the flange of the cap will cover some of it, so first pass, not too bad. Okay, so when I was recording these, I actually accidentally forgot to put this on time lapse, so it's just real time, which is cool because it gives me a chance to just quickly talk about the difference between the battery and the plug-in cord buffers. For me, the option for the cord buffer wasn't as attractive because of where I have to polish a lot of the time is on the side of the road, out of town, or here outside my house, which is on the other side of this, as you can see, rather busy street. So plugging in is not really an option a lot of the time for me polishing, unless I can remove stuff and take it into my garage. So for me, the cordless buffer was the best option, although there are a lot of downsides to it, unfortunately, being battery life and the batteries overheat and max RPM's only 2,000, whereas you can get the plug-in ones, you can go you can go 3,500, but you can also go up to 6,000 on some of them as well, which is a bit more professional level. I haven't tried 6,000, but 3.5 is definitely a lot better. Like, you notice that extra RPM when you're trying to cut, especially. Here the battery was dying, and it was also overheating, so I had one in the fridge which I'd cooled off in the truck, so I swapped them over, and you can tell straight away, like, you can hear that higher pitch of the machine spinning at a higher RPM because the battery's got more life in it. So it's a bit of a trade-off, unfortunately, for the convenience to have to work around the batteries, and these Milwaukee cordless buffers are quite a bit more expensive, so I've had a lot of people ask me advice on these, and they are fantastic machines, but you pay for them, you pay quite a bit more for them, and there's some trade-offs as well. So if you have access to power, I definitely recommend getting a like a Makita or a DeWalt angle grinder buffer. Just so much easier to work with. I mean, obviously you've got to be careful not to overheat them, and they do need regular cleaning, but the same with the cordless as well. But like I say, it's a great buffer, but I would love to have the option to have a plug-in. I'm looking at buying a plug-in one as well, just for stuff I can take off, battery box covers and deck plate, stuff I can put in my garage and polish just for the convenience of not having to keep working around charging batteries. But yeah, it's just whatever works for your individual person. I'd also recommend, when you need to put more compound on your buffing wheel, to hold on properly to your rouge bar so you don't look like an idiot when you're filming videos for YouTube like I do right here. Thankfully no one saw that. Right, both our batteries are dead now, so we're going to have to go charge them up, but just to give a quick show of the difference. You can't, it's really hard to tell in this light, but I've just redone that, but there is a, I can see it anyway, there is a bit of a line here from the first cut into the second cut. It's not a huge difference, that bit there's got a lot of compound on it, but if you can make out in this video the clarity difference between here and here, some of that's a little bit milky still from that eliminator cleaner, but it's definitely got more of the oxidized alloy taken off as well, so you get a deeper, it's what they call a color. You know, your first cut, if you go straight to polish after that, you can make it plenty shiny. Take out all the fine scratches, make it super shiny, and you'll think, wow, that's great. And then on a sunny day, you'll get on a certain angle and you'll look at it and it'll just be milky white. And that's why they call it colouring, because the deeper you get, the more you cut before you get to your finished polish, the deeper colour you get, the more clarity you get. It gives it that depth, it makes it look like liquid metal as opposed to something that's looks drier and less depth. So that's where you put the work in. Don't always feel like it, but it's worth it when you're done. Alright, that's the second primary cut. Still a mess, obviously it's got compound and shit all over it, but you get the idea. Love doing the sides are always good obviously because they don't get a lot of stone chips and shit, so it's still got to be wiped down, but I think we'll clean that down now and just get onto the green. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. It's not like show quality, but there's a lot of compound in there and little stone incisions from just, unfortunately, our roads pick up a lot of crap, a lot of roadworks this time of year, so it's starting to get hammered. I crawl through roadworks, but unfortunately oncoming traffic often doesn't. A lot of stone dents already in this truck. It is what it is, but as you can see, it's looking better than it was. We'll run the green wheel and the green bar over it after cleaning it down and start getting some of the cut scratches out of it. Okay, batteries are heat a little bit. So yeah, just on the green now, green and green. The main point of the green now is to just basically take out the scratches from the cut. It's just a softer cloth and a finer compound. It's a harder, drier compound too, so you don't get as much build up. I haven't even raked that. I didn't even rake it at the start. Hasn't been raked since last time I used it, and as you can see, is starting to get a little bit of build up on there. You can see that shiny stuff, but really nowhere near as much raking required. All the worst of the oxidized aluminium should be gone by the time you finish your primary cutting. And now you just basically, this is like a tertiary cut or a color heading towards polishing. It's just basically, like I say, now we're working on just taking the scratches out of the cut. There's a little bit abrasive, so you want to start taking the scratches out. As you can see, that's mostly compound, but you can see some of the scratches there, the brown tripoli. It's yeah, that's what we're doing now, is removing those. As you can see, you come over here, you get a lot closer. There's compound on there still that needs to come off, and I'm going to do a final hand polish on it, but as you can see, the scratches are pretty much going. Getting closer to that desired mirrored finish. Just about done with this. Actually, I'll probably just, once my battery cools down a bit, I'll finish off with this green, and then we'll just do a quick hand polish, wipe it down, call it good for now. It's not a show prep, so back to work tomorrow, so we'll just we'll get it reasonably good for the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the week with a clean truck, so the rest of it needs some attention, but get into a detail this week, tidy things up. Tanks are pretty good now, for now. These need doing. I've still been meaning to pull these deck plates up at some stage, give them a big clean up, sand and polish. This is from when John had his trailers behind when it was new, this truck. Obviously Susie Leeds had a big field day scuffing up the deck plate. It's just a bit of a mess at the moment. Some polish from doing the tanks the other day, but those need a big clean up. Seems like we'll need some grease too, actually. I'd like to paint those orange actually, but John likes them alloy. It never ends, I tell ya. At least we'll start tomorrow with a decent bumper again. Okay, so that's pretty much done. We'll pull the tape off and put the bumper bolt caps back on in a minute. Again, it's not done. I can already see a couple of bits that need redoing, but it's done for now. It's done for regular working conditions. See, to me that's way too cloudy for a show, but it'll do for the next wee while because I've got some plans to get to, so I'll do a quick vid once we've pulled the tape off and put the caps back on and call it good. Okay, so like I say, that's done. It's as done as it's going to get for now, and it will clean up. Like I say, it as shiny as it looks now, the next time I wash it, it will be shinier because there's still a certain amount of compound residue on there. I mean, I've just polished it off, but even some of that polish will still be on there. You wipe it off, but it's not completely gone. For some reason, it hangs around in there and all those little cracks in it. You can't see every individual bit, but it does look duller than it will after its first wash. Get some water on there and some soap and sponge it, tidy it up. The reason I pull these caps off is I don't always, sometimes I get lazy and don't pull them off. I don't know if you can see on any of those, but that chrome coating will buff off, as you can see. I did get lazy and just buffed around them once, and they're not as shiny as they were, so same with the plate actually. It's not super abrasive, but that polish will take off certain stuff obviously, because that's what it's meant to do. But I mean, that's stainless and that's alloy, so it's not a million miles off. It's definitely doesn't have that depth and clarity, but as you can see, it's a lot better than it was.